I'd like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
All right, Cowboy Nation, we back. We are back. We are back. I thank y'all for the patience with me to come to get back here on the live stream. I had to set up a whole new studio, man. Had to get a new, well, not a whole new studio. I had to set up my computer and everything in another spot, and I forgot to plug in my hardline internet stuff. So that gives you give us a better reception and a better viewpoint on everything, man. So I'm back. I hope you have gotten back in there with me. Come back on in. We're not gonna be out here. We're not gonna be long at all this day. I was watching the Ravens game. I just turned the Ravens game on, and I don't know what's really going on in the Ravens game. I see that um, I'm seeing that Lamar Jackson. The Ravens quarterback is not in the game. If anybody knows what's going on with him, did he get hurt early on in the game? Um, let me know. Would hate to see him get um, well, hate to see him get hurt. Um, because he's a great quarterback, and we would love to see him to have a good chance to keep on playing. Um, don't look like they're going to make the playoffs. It's a whole lot of different scenarios going on here in the NFL these days. And the day was a sad day for the Cowboys, and the finger point starts, as in my video said, the finger point starts, and the finger point starts when you have somewhat of a uh, losing mentality. Um, as I was saying before I went out before, this is not just an even foods problem. Um, I know some people say, "Ouch, it's the scheme." No, it's not the scheme. We talked about it earlier this year. Talking about, well, they playing too much zone. Well, today in a couple of, in the last half of the season, we've been playing more man to man, and we're finding out why. These are the reasons why we didn't play man to man, because he could not trust our corners from not giving up big plays. And he tried to limit the big plays when they started playing zone. And I'm not defending these loose. I'm just telling you from a coach's point of view of why certain things happen. They was getting killed early on in the beginning of the season, and then now at the end of the season, they're getting killed by the same way again. And it's not no long drives. It's big plays, big play after big play after big play. And we have given up more big plays over 30 yards. 30 yards of what we call explosive plays. 25 to 30 yards of what we call explosive plays. I guarantee you that we lead the league in giving up explosive plays. And you can't win football if you ain't the stat of the day was that we was giving up over 8 to 10 yards per play per offensive play. I don't know how many plays that they ran, but when you giving up 8 to 10, almost 10 yards a play, we giving up too many explosive plays. And I told you why explosive plays happen. A lot of people say, and I'm gonna get to y'all comments. I'm gonna get to y'all comments. Some of y'all comments are very good. I'm gonna scroll through and we're gonna answer some of these same comments after I give you my opening. We're gonna go back and talk about some of these comments you're making, and but you can't give up that many explosive plays. And I told you there's 3 reasons why you give explosive plays, and none of them. Some of them people could say it relates to scheme. But it's either alignment and assignment. And if you want to say alignment and assignment has to do with scheme, yes, you can have that sometimes, but sometimes not aligned up properly and not completing your assignment. And very rarely, it's hard for us to understand what the assignment is and how things are being asked or being taught to them because we're not in that huddle. So us for our eyes, looking at film, and we can talk about all the film we want to watch, it's going to tell us a certain thing, but it's not going to tell you all the true story because we're not in that locker room knowing what they've been going through and how they're being taught the certain things. Now we can understand how things supposed to be taught, but we can't go on about what was said and how it was said. So we can give a good opinion, but we can't be totally positive. So alignment and assignment. The second thing is physicality and effort. And in some aspects, I don't see physicality, and I don't see a total effort. Um, if anybody remember, I did see this. They talked to Schottenheimer after at halftime, and what he said was what I've been saying for the longest, and I believe it's being echoed now. It's starting to be echoed in the locker room, but it's already too late to echo this. He said we need to tackle better and to get off the field third down. When you go back in the first half, we didn't tackle well. And these are the things, man. It's a totally non-physical football team on the defensive end. But that's not the only part. Some of you mentioned in your comments about penalties. Our offense kick the we got too many fourth downs and long and third downs and tens to consistently be a good football team and think that we throwing bombs on 4th and 2 like that's really being good football. Yeah, it works. But if I was a defensive coordinator, if I was San Diego, and if I was the Chargers, when I go back and look at this first half of this film and the way that we scored against them, I go in the locker room, I'm confident we're going to stop them in the second half. And that's exactly what they did. I'm confident that we're going to stop them in the second half if I was the Chargers going into the locker room at halftime. Well, some people say, well, Coach, man, we was killing them. CeeDee Lamb and all of them getting explosive plays because the Chargers know that they don't give up explosive plays like that. And if they say we can stop the explosive plays, they feel that we were going to self-destruct with penalties or some type of other stuff. And they were right. They limit our big plays, and they made us try to be disciplined enough to go down the field and score. And this is why this game was so sad, because we could not be disciplined enough to go down and score. The decision to make Tyler Smith the left tackle. Now, this is going to cause a lot of craziness because everybody's going to say he should be a left tackle and he shouldn't be a guard. We can find anybody to be guard. Okay. I think the decision more was that they like what Bass was doing. But this whole offensive line, and see, people gonna start looking at this and gonna think and take it as a shot at the offensive line. It's a shot that we are not a good. And I know some people gonna look at Schottenheimer and they're gonna be saying this is where it's over his head, whatever. But if you look at the teams, I ask you this: everybody who's in my live stream, and I'm gonna get to your I'm gonna get to your comments in 1 second because we're gonna go over there. But I want y'all, the ones that's commenting in the live stream, to think about this. If y'all been watching football all this weekend, from the college playoffs to the NFL and the better teams in the NFL, defensively, and the games, it's not that you're going to score every possession. But when you look at the games, the good teams, do you see the Cowboys playing football like that? In the better games, the better teams are not giving up explosive plays. And the teams that are giving up explosive plays are getting blown out. They're not even the better teams. But we giving up explosive play after explosive play after explosive play. Trayvon Diggs, what did we expect? What did we expect from Trayvon Diggs today? We expected Trayvon Diggs that been sitting around, that's been hurt. Then he had a concussion, trying to get his knee together, and been out of football, out of playing wide open football for what 6 or 7 weeks, almost 2 months, to come out there in this type of environment with these type of secondary guys, with this team, this defense that they has no confidence, and go out there and play lights out. What we expect from Revel? When we got people talking about Revel, don't you know he just getting through training camp, just about. If you look at his games, he's about ready after training camp, probably the second week of the season. Because if he was in all the training camp and played all the preseason and then played like the first 4 weeks, all that'd be like 6, 7 weeks. And if he was still been playing by this time in the year, he might have been better because he have gotten those reps. So what we expect, man? But we're gonna have a lot of pointing fingers, and there's a lot of fingers to be pointed. But I just wanted to make sure that y'all understood it was a sad day today. All the things that good football teams do, we didn't do it. We didn't turn the ball over to the end. Penalties on second down, not executing on first down, drop passes, missing tackles, allowing people to run down the field because we are trying to do too much, trying to bait people into throwing the ball here and there. It's backyard football, man. So let's go through some of y'all comments, because I know y'all upset just like I am. So we start off here, man. We start off with some yeah. I want to put this out here. This is a good statement here. Let me put some of the statements that y'all got in the chat. This is a good one. Well, I guess that's about Diggs. Was he hurt? Right? Just another statement, and maybe I'm wrong about this. Great comment. If anybody see the comment, how some of these players go on other teams and be totally different, because they're in a different environment and they're being stressed differently because there's not this environment about you need to make a splash play to be a football player. It's almost the saying that, in Cowboy Nation, we got to get to be back to jeans and T-shirts. And what you say, well, Coach, what you mean by that? We got to get back to the basics of just jeans and T-shirts and get grimy. But we flash and dash. We don't have enough guys to say putting in just doing common things when they go to other teams, they have common roles and they work, and there's a whole lot more of a football environment. And I know people gonna say it's the Joneses. It's the Joneses and our fan base. Because we think fixing Michael Eberflus is going to be the thing. Let me tell you how our fan base is going to say we need to fix this. And this is how we start every year. Let me give you how it's going to go for us every year when we get to this point when they think the season over. First, we start out talking about we need to kill certain coaches. And we blame all these coaches. Now, the blame, I want to go on record, is that the Cowboys need another defense coordinator. And they probably going to need some, and that defense coordinator needs going to bring his own defensive coaches. Okay, that's fine. But regardless of that, we do that. There's some things we're going to have to change. One, I'm hearing everybody talking about Eberflus today, but there's players out there that's not playing good. And when we start, and listen, we already know Eberflus system, but we got to make sure that we got to say what's a system problem and what's a player problem. We got mad when we play zone because we talk about too soft in zones. But when they went to zones more during the middle of the season when they were trying to get better, they weren't giving up his big plays. But, listen to everybody say, no, these guys want to play man to man. And all the stuff that Eberflus talked about, he was his trademark. This defense didn't do none of that. When you talk about bend and don't break, what is bend and don't break? Listen here, bend and don't break play zone, and don't give up big plays. I love bend and don't break. If you don't give up big plays, I'm good with that. If we make a team to travel the field because they got to drive down the field all the way you want to talk, if we want to call that bend and don't break, well, that's what I love. If you want to say who's the advocate of that, I am. Because the other side of being aggressive and giving up big plays, I can tell you that don't win in football. You can see that. The biggest issue with our defense is two things. We have given up more plus 25, 30-yard plays than anybody in the NFL by far. And you can't win like that. Every game we give up a long touchdown play. Every time we get in, the teams get in the red zone, the first play they run is a sweep. And most times they get 10, 15, 20 touchdowns. The Chargers started trying to do it today, but we stopped it. First play they got him when they get in the red zone. That's what they do. That's the MO of everybody else. Another comment. Let me get you a comment out here. Another one. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Flus is not responsible for tackling. No. For people to stand up in the neutral zone, dropping passes, we got a receiver that lines up offside. We killed Noah Brown 2 years ago when he lined up offside. Now we got a no focus on this team. This team is worried about brands more than football. And see, I think we need to attack that part of this Cowboy team. Now let me explain what I'm saying, and I know I might get a lot of blowback. I might get a lot of blowback on this, and sometimes I'm talking out of emotion. Sometimes I like to wait a couple of days before I start talking about a game because sometimes I'm missing something. Sometimes I say stuff, and then when I go back and actually watch the film over, then I start to say, "Oh, that's wasn't that case," and I'm just being a little bit too emotional. But I will say this. Let's start attacking that these guys are not serious enough about their craft. Let's start attacking that these guys are not serious enough about their craft. Let's start attacking, still attacking the Joneses, still attacking yes, we do. Yeah, the Jones need to change coach. I'm sure they're going to do that. But let's start attacking the guys on this, not just our ones that we got a pet peeve against. All of them. And say you can't have a brand in Dallas just because you're in Dallas. This is, it's sad, man. That was a great comment. I don't know where. I don't know where Schottenheimer trying to take the silver spoon away. The reason why I say Schottenheimer is not taking the silver spoon away because he's not being honest in the press conference. And let me say what I'm talking about being honest in the press conference. If you're not blocking and we're not tackling, and we got guys, we got units that ain't tackling, or we got units that just ain't doing what they're doing, from Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb to all of them, if you felt that they didn't play well or do something that was a dumb play, say it and say who it was. Yeah. Put it on Front Street, Shotty. Because if you do that, don't worry about the players. Well, the players ain't gonna like if I do that because they listen, man. Man, let me ask you a question, man. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Where on football did you see where the quarterback does everything to make points and nobody else does nothing? Tell me what team that you don't watched all these games that the quarterback is the total responsibility of scoring points. I don't know how we try to individualize football. But Herbert was the total responsibility of them scoring points. Herbert throwing to wide open wide receivers is the total responsibility of scoring points. So if Dak had wide open wide receivers, I tell you, man, this is why, you know, and I say this, man, and I say this to be nice, and I'm gonna say this to be nice, and it probably gonna cause me some harm. When when I got in this YouTube thing, and as I started getting in this YouTube thing, and I started talking to more and more Cowboy fans, I found that Cowboy fans are more splash fans than any other fans out there. You could talk to some of my best friends are Pittsburgh Steelers and Green Bay fans, and these are some of the bigger fan base. They never say they talk crazy about Ben Roethlisberger, but they listen. They are very knowledgeable fans. Know it takes a whole lot of other stuff to go on. They just don't say, "Oh, it's just the one guy." So if it's Purdy, people talking about Purdy, then I guess Jones is just as good as Purdy because they scored when they had the other quarterback. But when he was someplace else, he been traded around the league. He went from New England. He went to New England, then he went to Jacksonville, and he couldn't stand it. But he went to San Francisco, and he won some games. So I guess he's that guy. Everybody wants to talk about is just the quarterback for them to score game and so points. Stafford scores points, but do you understand Stafford had one of the best running games in the league? No, nobody talks about that. People talk about Hurst. You know what? Know why Hurst them winning now? Because Hurst throwing for 185 yards. The last two games he ain't threw for 2,000 yards. He ain't threw for 200 yards in the last two games. Because they done got back to running the ball with Barker. Barker done had great games and they'll score more points. But you know what they're gonna say? It's the quarterback that scores all the points. Dak 60% did turn the ball over. We get drives and we got people lining up all sides. We get third and fives and we got people getting penalties. Other teams, we got if the Cowboys don't score 35, 40 points, the quarterback is bad. I'm watching games all over the NFL where I'm watching the New England game right now that this quarterback they talking about might be an MVP, but nobody gets upset in this game that they only got 13 points. Nobody's going to talk about how bad this quarterback is. Yeah, Cooper Rush was here. Yeah, and he didn't score no points. Yeah, I know. I know. See, these are the people who are not Cowboy fans. They perpetrators. See, they now all the people who's in the comments about the ones that want to try to make it about Dak Prescott. These people are not Cowboy fans. Listen to me, people. These people are not Cowboy fans. I can guarantee you they ain't Cowboy fans. They're the fans, And I'm gonna tell you what type of fans they are. They're the fans is because they're people that they know are gonna say something about the Cowboys, and they're gonna do the pivot thing to say something about Dak Prescott. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna be on the agreement point and say, "Oh yeah, I know he ain't this and that," so they won't get picked at because they're Cowboy fans. I got a couple of people that I know that's supposed to be Cowboy fans, and that's how they work. So yeah, yeah. So tell me how many winning quarterbacks in the NFL. Tell me how many teams got one. Because winning quarterbacks is ones that win Super Bowls. Yeah, and quarterbacks don't win football games. Uh, Give me a winning defense, and I can win a Super Bowl, and I can probably give name about 10 or 15 Super Bowl champions that quarterbacks was garbage, but they won Super Bowls because they had great defenses. And I probably could tell you right now, there's one team that's just like that right now because they got great defense. And if you look at the defenses around here, man, we got some people that's really doing some great things with defenses. Yeah, I know 105.3. Yeah, I know they. Yeah, they talking about they want. Hey, listen here. Listen, if they was the the Joneses know that. You know how many teams would be ready to trade for that. And guess what? Go back. What the comment I put over here? He'll probably go somewhere and win 3, 4 Super Bowls someplace else. Because here we will put the blame on that and say, okay, we got the worst defense in the NFL this year. And you got somebody who's talking about Dak Prescott. Tell me, and I'm finna ask this person. Now, this is the question that's gonna kill you with it doing that. Tell me a team that had the 32nd ranked defense in the league. What quarterback from go back in the history of quarterbacks? Go to Montana, go to Marino, go to Tom Brady, go to all them that had the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL and they won games. If you can tell me that it's a list of quarterbacks that way, then you have an argument. But if it's not, you have no argument. Tell me a quarterback that got to score 35 points a game because the defense getting up 30 points a game. And then tell me that. And 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 everybody want to talk about $60 million a year. And I keep trying to tell, ain't gonna go in there. Yeah. Yeah. You got quarterbacks making $25 million a year that's probably sitting on the sideline. I can't believe, I just got an offer. I got off on a tangent of that, man. I just got off on a tangent of that. But let me get a you know, sometimes you get off on a tangent. And that's what that comment person want to do. He wants you to get off on a tangent because regardless of how it was, it's always gonna be Dak Prescott. Um and that's what some people that's what people and when you have an offense and if anybody knows about football, when you have an offense that's being stressed that they have to score most times, they're gonna falter because your play calling gets a little awry. You have to be a lot more aggressive because now you're looking at every possession that you have to score, and that's not winning football. If you've been watching, if anybody out here been watching these football games all weekend long, with the really good football games, they understand that you're not going to score on some possessions. There are going to be some defenses going to do some things, but you have to counteract and have some defensive stands yourself. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on and winning football games. I'm watching teams winning football games with their defense, and their quarterbacks are not doing that great to win the games because that's what winning teams do. San Francisco has went without a quarterback. Their starting quarterback, they went with two quarterbacks this year, and they're winning football games. They're probably going to be in the playoffs. So, and when you don't have the other units playing very well, it stresses you out. Kansas City has one of the greatest quarterbacks they say since sliced bread, but when he was healthy, they had the same record as the Cowboys. So when you have those type of things, it goes back and you say, well, if they won, they win, right? Yeah, I mean, and anybody who says quarterbacks is the only reason why they win football, they don't know nothing about football. He probably couldn't tell you what how the Cowboys won with when if I told him that uh the stats for Troy Aikman was horrible wasn't that great as a quarterback, he'd probably tell you, say, no, he won the games. Troy Aikman never won a Super Bowl with a defense that wasn't even top three in the league. He never won a Super Bowl when his running attack was the top one or two in the league. Matter of fact, the Cowboys themselves have never played an NFC Championship game, or the Cowboys themselves have never played an NFC Championship game. They have never played in a Super Bowl, or won a Super Bowl, or lost a Super Bowl, or lost an NFC Championship game, or win an NFC Championship game without having a top three rushing attack and a top five defense in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. That's with Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman, and one of the greater quarterbacks who had better stats than Roger Staubach, Danny White. So I guess you surround them with these type of things, you will get better results. You'll get some results. Um, but that's how it goes. Oh, somebody got a super chat. Who got a super chat in there? Somebody gave me a super chat. I can't. Let me see if I can get to the super chat. If you gave me a super chat, let me see if I can get to the super chat. I'm sorry that I'm not on that. Uh, I'm not on that. Not say I would never get people on my channel to get me off on a tangent with. Let's see if I can get to the super. I'm gonna try to see if I can get to your super chat with the comments. I'm gonna bring the show up and see if I can get to you. I can go on the show and see if I can get to your super. Sir, if you did a super chat, if you did a super chat, just put it back and I'm sorry I didn't see it because my system is now letting me see the super chat, and now I'm watching it on the thing, and it would have popped up if I would have seen it on the thing. But if you got a question, man, say that super chat again in the comments. And I'm sorry, man. Thank you so much, and I'll make sure I post it on the screen. I'm quite sure the people in the chat saw it, but look at that. How many points? Listen, it's not go back and forth with Leo, man. Listen, man, let's not go, man. I mean, this is second week where we didn't score any points in the second half. 17, 20 points. Well, hey, when we started asking for a shootout to win games and stressing that we try to score every possession, and we did score a couple of points. Let's say we scored 10 points. We scored 14 points in the second half. Do we win the game? And we scored 7 points. Did we win the game? They could have scored another touchdown. They called the dogs off. But it would have been exciting, I know. Yeah. We had a couple of drives in the second half. It wasn't like we didn't drive the ball. And why did those drives get shut down? Oh, I guess Dak did something. 2 of those drives were shut down because we got penalties that put us in 3rd and 10. When you start trying to ask a quarterback that's good, this is NFL. When you try to get 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 14s all game long, that don't work. That don't work for no quarterback. But I guess it's Dak Prescott. Yeah, man. These people, man. Y'all don't listen. Yeah. Why Stafford was so great, why he went through 10 years and then went in Detroit? That's a great question. That's a great question. I wonder why. And then he won 1 year, and what about all the years that they did lose in LA? It's not like he don't won every year. Ain't like the Rams won every year. Ain't like the Rams been a dominant team every year. So what about the years that they did win? What happened? That's the question I want. When they don't win, what's happening? Anybody? Yeah. See, man, listen here. Y'all listen, man. Y'all argue with a person that is not a Cowboy fan. Y'all argue with a person that's not a Cowboy fan, and he's perpetrating because I've been saying he ain't been a Cowboy fan. He's been hearing me say that, and he's not responding to that at all. He's not a Cowboy fan. Don't argue with a guy that's not a Cowboy fan. He's just in this chat to get everybody upset about the Cowboys. That's all he is, man. So there's no need to argue with a person that's not a Cowboy fan. He probably can't tell you nothing about the Cowboys. Yeah, listen, people, there's best thing to just go ahead and ignore that. Because he's not a Cowboy fan. Y'all talking to someone who's not a Cowboy fan that knows that's probably just a fantasy football fan that just does that way just because you live in TLV, that mean you a Cowboy fan. You ain't don't got that you that don't mean, so you got tickets to your family had tickets from family. That what that mean? Because if you was a Cowboy fan, you would know quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. If you thought, If you've been a Cowboy fan to the 70s, you will know that Roger Staubach didn't win a Super Bowl when they beat the Denver Broncos. We got 9 turnovers in that game, and he didn't really have a great game. If you was a real Cowboy fan, you will understand that Troy Aikman on the second Super Bowl was throwing interceptions like crazy. If you was a real Cowboy fan. Yeah. 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 He said, this is what he said. I live in the DFW. Does that mean everybody that live in the DFW is a Cowboy fan? No. The second thing he said was, right? What was the second thing he said was? He said, my parents. Let me say that again. He said, my parents were the ticket holders for 20 years. That what he said. That means his parents. He never said he was a Cowboy fan. Y'all argue with a person that despises his parents being Cowboy fans, and he has not been a Cowboy fan, and he doesn't like the Cowboys really. His parents like the Cowboys, but he felt he was made to like the Cowboys, so he's not a Cowboy fan. No, he didn't like the Cowboys. No, yeah. And every time I point out all those stats with him, he don't he say, "I know it's quarterback." No, it's quarterback. Quarterback won those games. Yeah, it was quarterback. No, it was quarterback. Shucks. We had another quarterback. We'd have won the game. Shucks. I don't care how bad defense was. We won the game. Quarterback would have made some more points. He would have made some more points. I don't care. If the quarterback back there, he would make some more points. Where you at? Where's your comment at? Where your comment at? I need to put your comment up here. That comment right there is the best comment in the world there. That's the best comment in the world, man. Yeah. Yeah. 1974. Who was the quarterback in 1974? Okay, good question. Let's get off of that. Let's go to this. Let's go up to this. Hey, very good question. Now I got a few more minutes with y'all, man. I got but listen. Let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about some realistic solutions. Great question here. Question comes out here, man, from G Hammond. Hey, coach, how do we turn this team around? Let me give you the first thing that I can say from off the first view of turning this team around. If we thought Schottenheimer was going to come here and change this culture in 1 year, that wasn't going to happen. This should have been his second year. Changing this team is going to have to take what I've been saying from day one, G. we're gonna have to get to a point that we're gonna have to realize who we are. We're gonna have to get to a point that we got to realize who we are. We got to get to the point where we realize that we're not them boys and we got to come out the mud to be a championship contender. See, I think sometimes we get into this point that we think, and we get to this point like if we get one free agent, we get this one person that's gonna put us over the top, or we get the it's the defense, it's the quarterback. We go pointing at it. It's an organizational things that wins championships. It's not just the quarterback. It's not just the running back. It's not just the defense. It's an organizational thing to win championships. And we don't have that. We are just too far into the thinking that it's just one thing that's going to help us win. I'm gonna tell you this. Let's look at the blueprint. If you want to take about how the Cowboys can get back, let's look at the blueprint. Let's look at the blueprint. And somebody's gonna say, "Well, this blueprint is feasible." Let's look at what Harbaugh did when he went to the Chargers. Now he didn't win a championship yet, but let's look at what Harbaugh went to the Chargers did. Right? Let's look at what Sean Payton did when he went to um, Denver. And yes, they lost today. Right? But both of those teams are probably playing for the top of their division. What did Sean Payton do and what did Harbaugh do? What they fixed first? Some people will say, well, they got no. They fixed their defense to a point where they didn't have to score 35 points to win a game. And if the quarterback threw some interceptions, if he turned the ball over, if he did play a perfect game, they can win football games. Do we have that here? I can see other teams that have offense that sputter, turn the ball over, and win. When we fix that part, that is not just about one player, and it's about we fixing the team. We'll be. That's how we start turning this around. I heard somebody says this. The gentleman that's talking about Dak Prescott. Let me explain this. I heard him say that we didn't score a point in the second half, and somebody agreed. Do you know that Patrick Mahomes they won their second Super Bowl? They went to Baltimore and they didn't score a point in the second half, and they won the NFC Championship game in Baltimore, and they didn't score a point in the second half. Do you know that the year that they won their second Super Bowl, they went 5 games without scoring a touchdown in the second half, and one of those games was the AFC Championship game, and they won a Super Bowl that year. Did you know that? Go check it out. And if that's the case, that argument you said should be dead. Because has it ever been a time that we can say that in Dallas in the last 10 years? When people say defense win a championship, G, Hampton, if we want to turn this thing around, I don't care what Dak Prescott does. I don't care what you. Let's build a defense, not on stardom, but on sure young talent, and make them feel that they got to win the game. Don't ever go and tell me we got a defense and the only thing we want the defense to be middle of the pack or just be better and we got enough offense to win. Those teams don't never win Super Bowls. They don't even hardly win at all. But when you got teams that go out there and says we're gonna win it on that side, we win. See, it's not about when you say your team or the other team. If there's a blueprint of winning and you decide to do it a different way, then that's the definition of insanity. Because the same blueprint was the same blueprint that we won all our Super Bowls with. But all of a sudden, we got to have the biggest stat quarterback in the league. And as I said again, if we want to turn this around, let's go back to the blueprint like the other teams that win. Do you understand the Kansas City when they won their run? If you look at how they team won their run in the 60s, 70s, they run it the same way now. If you look at the way other teams win their Super Bowl, they win them the same way now. If you got the number one offense, let's say we took the offense and broke it down. It's the number one offense. So if the day they didn't score 17 points, they still number two, number three in offense. So if they had an off day, okay. Isn't that telling you something? Don't the organization understand this? They said for the last 6 years, we have had an average of the number two to number three offense last 7, 8 years in the league. How do that equate to not making playoff games? See that what I'm saying. It- and when we say we don't care about other teams, that's an excuse to say that happening. It's happening more than that. But no, like it don't need to happen like that with us. You can't tell me nowhere else where there's no teams that's winning, that's not having, that's at the top, that don't have to score every possession, and they win games other ways. You can't tell me that. And since you can't tell me that, it's an argument. And I say again, Hampton, G. Hampton, let's build a defense. I've been talking about defense, and I've been saying this on live screen with Boss Cowboy when I was, I've been saying this for like 3 or 4 years. I said we're gonna go as far as the defense gonna take us. We're gonna go far as the defense gonna take us, people. And then when we get to the point when we get to the point of um this defense taking us to where we need to go, we're gonna be a team. and 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 we this defense take us to the point, and that's where we're going. That's where it's going to be. That's where it's going to be in the hands of. And I think we got some foundational pieces for the defense, but we just got to get a lot more tougher on our defense. I want to see more of a grind on defense. Now, two things that we need to build on our defense is going to be important, G. And let me tell you something when I'm talking about building the defense. Two things we need on our defense is going to be very key. We need speed on our defense. Our defense overall is very, very slow. Our back end is very slow. We need speed on our defense. And let me explain when I say when we need defense. And we were talking about what we want to do. And I'm gonna get into what you said about that because all these are good questions. And I'm not saying everybody else don't have some good questions, except for the person that's not a Cowboy fan. And you say, how much do we think Matt Eberflus plays in our failure? Well, he plays a lot in our failure because he couldn't reach our defense to what he wanted to, where he said he believes in a defense. Let me explain what I'm talking about. He got up there early on in the season and said that your defense, how we tackle, how your cornerbacks tackle is how we tackle as a defense. And we got the worst tackling cornerbacks in the league. We got the worst tackling cornerbacks in the league. We've given up more big plays than any team. And the only reason why that our big plays that we have won some games by giving up so many big plays is because our offense give up big plays. Our quarterback is throwing the ball down the field more than anybody else quarterback in the league. So when people say didn't get done, that's it. That's the part. We only scored today because he threw passes. He threw people wide open on those paces. So that those things I'm saying. But Matt Eberflus is because he didn't get that over to the team. And then I think what happened is when you start. Let me explain another thing that happened today that I knew there was that was going to be the kiss of death to Matt Eberflus, and he's already saying he was done. Do y'all remember? Or do y'all know the day that they moved Eberflus to the booth to call the plays? Right? They moved Eberflus to the booth to call the plays today. Know what that tells me? It tells me that Eberflus don't trust the guy that was in the booth to do his job. See, the guy in the booth is his eyes. It really don't make no difference because now you get those. At one time, it did make a difference because you don't get no video. But now they get a video picture on the sideline with the computer. So listen, I mean, you being up there and on the sideline, so you don't trust the guy up on the sideline, or they trying to move you from the sideline because they don't like the way you talking to the players, or the players are not responding to you. Yeah, we have given up 420 points in 14 games. That's unbelievable, and we have given up more big plays. That's almost hard for your offense to overcome. That's almost like running a race and you get there's no breaks. There's no breaks. You got to be your offense. Your offense you got to be perfect. And there's no offense in this league winning when they got to be perfect. Offense is too stressful. You have to be perfect because then when you play against good defenses, you're gonna run into that problem. And last two, this past week we ran into that problem because the Chargers are a good defense. They are good defense. They don't give up a lot, and we gave up a lot of big. we got a lot of big plays on them. We'll move the ball pretty well on them the first half. And guess what? They're going to get back. Most defenses are going to get back to what their averages are. That's why they're a good defense. Defenses are not going to allow you to do things that's going to continue to hurt them. And then what they did was, as I told you, and that's what I want our defense to be into the point is what they said was the Chargers defense said we're going to stop giving up the big plays and we're going to make them be patient enough and not self-destruct and see if they can drive the ball and not self-destruct. Because if we get them behind the sticks, we feel that our defense is good enough to stop any defense behind the sticks. And any good defense, I don't care who your defense, who the offense is. I don't care with the quarterback, whatever. In the NFL, if they keep getting you behind the sticks, they're gonna shut you down. And that's how we got them behind the sticks. So again, what I say about that is, again, if you want to talk about how we're going to build this team, what we need to correct first in any case is a mentality change. And I know everybody keeps saying, well, Coach, you keep saying a mentality change. Listen, man, but that's the defense is first. Defense is the first. That's the first thing. That's the exact first thing we gonna straighten out first. Now, George makes some great points because he's talking football. All these other people talking about all this stuff about blaming one player and all that, but he talking football. Let me give you another question that George put up here. This here, hold up. I'm gonna go to your George Pickens question first in a minute if I can get back to it. But first, I need to go to this question. Well, let me go. I'm gonna go to your question first. And I'm gonna get to the Eagle Foods thing. Listen, here. After watching Pickens today, do we resign him? We let him go. Listen, I let Pickens go at the end of the night. If I'm the Cowboys, I got a number that I want to offer Pickens. There's no big time negotiation. We are not going to pay you number one receiver money. There's no teams in the league got no $230 million. We're not doing that. But we're going to give you a nice salary. It's going to be a short-term deal. We got a number in my mind. We're going to go ahead and put that number out there. We're going to put that number out there for you. And we're going to say, hey, this is the number we want to sign you at. We're not going to play around with you. And we're going to go ahead and say, hey, we want to sign you. If we cannot get that deal done with the number we want, and we're trying to go out here and be aggressive with it, we're not going to do it in the media. Then we're going to say, hey, you can walk and put you on the free agent market, and you go out there and shop yourself around, and we'll try to re-sign you because we know you want to be in Dallas and see what the market is. I can guarantee you that with his history, it would be very crazy for a team to give George Pickens $30 million for 5 or 6 years. I don't think no team is going to trust that. That's a real big investment on a guy that only had 2,000-yard receivers in his career, has a lot of talent, but he could be a great player, but he's an up and down player. So I don't think I would allow him to get see what he can get. And if somebody want to give him that, then we'll say we'll try to match you with what we can do. If not, then hey, we'll move on. Because the focus should not be on Pickens. It should be working on the defense. The focus should be working on the defense. You can have a less of a Pickens if the defense is better. You ain't got to have 2 number 1 wide receivers. Fix your defense and you'll be all right. I bet you we're gonna have a Super Bowl with 2 teams and probably ain't got nowhere close to receivers we got. And they're gonna be in the Super Bowl. So fix your defense. That's what should be the main thing. We have a number, it fits the number. He don't want to go, we going with the defense. That's what my feeling about George Pickens. And I'm not saying get rid of George Pickens, but he's not the highest priority right now. Now let's get to this question here. Where we got man-to-man personnel at? We played most man-to-man today. We playing with a rookie in Vale. We playing with another guy that was an undrafted rookie on the other side. We playing with number 20, Reddy, number 27. I think it's an undrafted guy. We playing with Diggs coming off a microfracture surgery that wasn't ready for the beginning of the year. We playing with Bland that had foot problems. Who the hell say we got this man-to-man personnel? We got two safeties that can't run with nobody. So who said we got man-to-man personnel? We watched what man-to-man did to us today. They ate us alive in man-to-man coverage. Does man-to-man tackle? We had the worst tackling secondary in the league. But nobody see this. Because see, the canned answers that the people that don't know no football, that's what the first thing they say. Oh, they playing zone to zone. Because somebody got on this thing about, well, they playing zone, they playing soft coverage. Because let me tell you something. If we play in a zone and you have a busted coverage in the zone and a guy runs free in the zone, you mean to tell me that these guys been playing football since the day one? And listen here. Then we want to talk about pressure up front. We had three. And you've been giving some good questions, and I'm not going back at you on this. I'm not going back on you. The pressure wasn't that bad. This would get. If you look at our pressure rate, and which is I hate that IP stuff. It wasn't that bad. It's again, you don't have guys that can run with guys. Bland already had foot injuries since day one. Remember, he was out right after week one. Diggs coming back, just started, did practice none in the preseason, and played game one coming off the knee injury. Butler didn't even play. Did Reddy, Revel, and all these guys are undrafted free agents. So where in the world did somebody say, and you think you're going to put Wilson or Malik Hooker to guard somebody if they get caught on the slide on somebody? Who said we got man-to-man? I don't even care what your pass rush was. These guys can. Come on, people. Second thing, to what you said, G. We had 3 games: Green Bay, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Detroit, where they didn't throw the ball. There was about 3 or 4 passes that was completed where the ball traveled over 10 yards. You ain't gonna never have no pass rush if they throwing the ball under 10 yards in the air. So if they throwing the ball under 10 yards in the air, those are what we call short routes. 2, Green Bay and Detroit threw how many screen passes against us? I counted together 15. Why they did that? Gee, it wasn't about the pass rush. They said we couldn't tackle on the back end. They want to let Clowney and all them get after the quarterback? No, throw short passes. And after they eat us up with short passes, then they hit crossing patterns. Tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all watch the game? See, the canned answers is, well, we traded Parsons. There ain't no pass rush. The canned answers is, oh, we playing zone defense. That's why the team was bad. Listen here. Zone is good sometimes. Man to man is good sometimes. Seattle plays mostly zone. The Texans play mostly zone. Nobody says a word. Two of the best defenses in the league. They play zone till almost you think it's a man-to-man. Know why? Because when they play the zone, now they make those receivers not travel. And they looking for spots. But you can't go out there and say we're going to play man-to-man and the guys, it's already hurt. And listen, I'm not even to the point to say, listen, I said that 2 weeks ago. The Eagles need to go because he's not reaching. The static is too deep for him to reach the players. And guess what? You're going to bring another coordinator in here that's probably going to get, and he's going to do the exact same coverages. He's going to have a different mentality of it, and it's going to be just as good when you have the mentality and you may twinkle the players here and there, and they're going to be playing. And they ain't going to play that. They ain't going to play. Listen. And listen here. And the man coverage got destroyed. All your big plays came against man coverage. See, it's not about the percentage of the plays. See, again, and this way, and this is a statement right here. Let me show you this statement. And I'm not going at you, G Hampton. No, I'm just going to explain something to you. See, when they put a stat out here like this, you got to dig deeper when you look at stats. And I always tell people do coaching, you got to dig deeper in the stats. See, stats can give you one thing. You can look at a running, you can look at a running attack and say, oh, the team ran for 200 yards on us or 170 yards on it. And people say, oh, well, man, we gave up too many yards to run. What I used to say is this. You have to dig deeper in the stats. When you say a team ran for 170 yards, what you do is you take all the runs. You look at the longest run of the day. So if they got one run for 70 yards and they ran 30 more times in the game, that 170 yards is not a big problem. Because you take the longest run out and then you average the rest of the runs. And then that gives you how we playing. When we look at this thing here about 54% zone man and 46% zone today, okay, that's fine. Now let's break down when they play zone and they play man, and just look at the big plays that came against the zone and the big plays came against the man. And if I'm giving up big plays in man-to-man coverage, if we're scoring, I have to slow you down on the other end and not give you points fast. So sometimes I put a zone in to try to get you to throw the ball underneath so I can rally. But this is the problem, G. Hampton. This is the problem. When you playing zone and you got guys that not hitters and not strikers in the secondary that's not attacking the football, now you six one way and half a dozen another. Okay, you playing zone because you're trying to keep stuff in front of you and you're going to rally and knock it out. But you ain't got players that's doing that. You playing man because you're saying, well, hey, we're going to try to press the man to see if we can stay closer and don't give that, but we ain't got the speed to stay up with the guys. So you 6 one way and half a dozen another. You go zone to try to keep people in there. They throw screen passes and they run for 100 yards. Then you go to man. You can't get that. Well, if he's listen, if Pick and listen, somebody said this. Hey, if Pickens is the 28, 32 million, let's see who's gonna get it to him, and we see who's gonna get it to him. Go out there, put it out there, and somebody offer the 28 to 30. I'm quite sure he'll give the Cowboys a chance to match it. And then you make the decision go on. Let him go for 28, 30 million. They're gonna make a mistake because I say this. If he was 28, $30 million receiver, tell me how many 1,000-yard receiver years he got. Is this his best year? I say like this: tell me another 28 to $30 million receiver and their resume before they got 28 to $38 million, $32 million. Tell me what resume he's got like that got a resume like Pickens before they got 30, 32 to 30, 28 to $32 million. If he was at another place and he wasn't at Dallas, and he listen, and he was at listen, if he was at another team and he wasn't at Dallas and he would just have 1,000 yards and he had some big games and then some not so big games and some big games and not so big games, I guarantee you nobody will be saying he a 28 to $32 million receiver. But he in Dallas, and you know how we gonna do. Any player that has anything, the media is gonna blow it up, and we gonna push it because that's what we feel that. Yeah, our player is supposed to get, and if we want to say that, that's yeah, we blow it up because we them boys. I guarantee you, if somebody receiver gonna go out there and give him because if you're gonna invest 28 to $32 million with a guy that he's got some suspect of issues, that's a lot to invest. Let's see. And if it is, I guarantee you he'll give the Cowboys a chance to match. Because I think he loved Dallas, and I guarantee he'll give the probably you say Brett IU, yeah, maybe IU, yeah, maybe IU, maybe IU. That might be a question, and how that's working out for them. But I understand you're gonna say he was hurt, but before he got hurt, how that was working out. And I say it like this, and I'm not going at you. If you could just name me one, and we have to reach for that one, and it's not multiple, and it may be one out of 10. Do you want to be the second one out of 10? I'm just saying, if it's one out of 10, do you want to be the second? Let's see. Because let me put it like this, and this is where we got to get that stuff out of our mind because we doing the hype, right? We're doing the hype, and I'm not. It's not Jordan picking, but this is just facts. I'm just telling you facts. We're doing that based off what's happening here, right? Because think about it. Pittsburgh had a hard time trading him. So if Pittsburgh had a hard time trading him, why a lot of other people weren't interested before? So you think this halfway season with some hiccups this year? There have been some hiccups. Did you think that doesn't change people's mind that they're willing to invest almost $100 million at $30-some million a year, right? For at least 5 years, because you got to spread that so you can be a better cap hit. You think the teams are willing to do that? Let's see. I mean, think about it now. We just got that rose-colored thing because he didn't do nothing great on these catches that, because Dak put some dimes on him. And when you catching a lot, and I'm not when you catching slant passes and you running because the ball's on you and people miss tackles, and we're saying that it's worth 32 for 4, maybe guaranteed about almost $100 million. And Pittsburgh had a chance for his second 1,000 yard. All right. Because if he was someplace else, if he did this in New Orleans, or he did this in Carolina, yeah, I mean, listen, San Francisco traded Debo, who Debo had a better resume, but I mean, of making big plays, and they got off of him. And you notice that Washington gave him no extension because he was hot for making some big plays, and when I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I'll let him see. I'll let him see. I'll have a number for him, and y'all want to say what my number will be. My number will be about $22 million a year. $21 million a year. And a 3-year contract, maybe 4-year contract, guaranteed 60. 65. Or a 4-year contract where I have an out after 2 or 3 years. Or 2 years. That would be my number. 28, 30, hell no. No. And let's see. I will see. Because it's this here. It's always good to be on a place where you got a number one wide receiver who's gonna be the man and have the pressure on him every day to being the man. And you can have great days here and there and be dominant. It's always good to have that and have a quarterback like Dak Prescott. Whoever we want to talk about, I guarantee he'll tell you the better quarterback he ever played with. It's good, and I don't think he'll be, mad at that because I think he want to play in Dallas. But if I was Dallas, I would have a number, not a disrespectful number. I wouldn't talk about no 15 to 16. That's disrespectful, but it'll be in the 20s, and that's how it would be. And I'll have my number. I would have presented him with that number up front, right? But it won't be no $30 million. And I will see who will give $30 million. Let's see. Because he's supposed to get what he's supposed to get. But he ain't gonna get no this here. Tell me how many teams got two $30 million wide receivers. You think that's winning football? Because I guarantee you're gonna have some teams in the Super Bowl that probably ain't got one $30 million receiver. Fix the defense. Man, I done went way over my time because I got started. But listen here. I told y'all, man, all y'all, man, it's been very good, man. but we got to get these subscribers up. I know it's going subscribers go up when when we lose games. We need to get these subscribers up, man. We're gonna start doing some other content. We're gonna start following these playoffs. Um, and this is what we're gonna do. Listen to me, Cowboy fans. Listen to everybody out there in my chat. I want y'all to listen to me. And I want y'all to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat, right? If this is what my idea, and y'all gonna go with my idea, and we're gonna work with this idea. We're gonna watch some of these playoff games and these crucial games that's coming down. We're gonna watch our Cowboy games, but we're gonna start watching some of these playoff games and some of these crucial games. We're gonna follow some, and I'm gonna do a live watch party. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how we can fix our team by watching championship teams play and how teams are playing championship type of football or playoff type of football. And then we're going to relate that to our team. And then that's what we're going to see if we can get those mentality, because when teams are playing in this, the wheel ain't broken. That's the blueprint of how you get to these things. We're going to do some live streams and watch this, and that's where I want you to come along with me. We're going to get out of the soap opera thing about the Cowboys. We're going to make solutions, but we're going to need to watch other teams. And that's the way when I start talking to you about certain things, you're going to be able to understand it, because we're going to be watching the Seahawks playing the Rams in the playoffs, which was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. We're going to be watching that game. We're going to start to watch where other teams are making plays and how they're going at it and making plays. So that's what I want to see. So that's what I want to do for this championship run. When we start getting to the playoff time, we're going to do live streams with games that's being the playoff. We may do a Saturday when I do the beginning game and the end of game. We're going to watch other teams. You're going to come along with me and watch it. And what we're going to call it, and I'm going to name it, it's going to be Coach Marv. Let's talk about football. Let's watch football, good football. And we're going to learn what good football teams do. And then that's going to give us an outlook of what we need to do as a football organization to get better. We're going to be able to look at other teams and say, "No, we didn't do that. No, coach, we didn't play like that. Oh, I see what they're doing. I see, oh, they got a guy that's playing that ain't no superstar. Man, they playing with guys that a fourth round pick or something like that." We're going to be able to watch what other teams do. And we're going to learn how to get better. And we're going to go back to what G. Hampton was asking me, and the Cowboy said, we're going to find out what the good teams do. And we're going to look at that, and then that's why we're going to be able to follow and see how we can get better as a football team. Oh, okay, yeah, and that's true. 25 million, yeah. This is Devontae Smith knew what Philadelphia had a number already, and said, if you want to stay in Philly, this is what we're going to offer you, and they didn't play around with it. And he said, I'd rather stay here because we winning, and I'm going to stay right here, and that's what he said. Go to George Pickens early and have a number. Don't let it get all out of whack, talking about, well, all he does is say, hey, go to him early and say, we got a number, the right contract, we're going to guarantee you this. If you want to stay in Dallas, this is what the number is. And not a disrespectful number, but a good number, and you can get it done. But if you wait and let everybody push it out, then I would say the next route, sir, is to let him go out there in the open market to see what he can get, and then say, hey, we can match or we not, we let it go but at least give us a chance. The third way, if you want to go, franchise tag him, get him for another year at a top dollar. I wouldn't do that because that's taking up a lot of salary cap money for no reason. I wouldn't do that. Let him find another deal, and then it's time. You know, if you want to go somewhere else, fine. But I guarantee you can get another a good wide receiver here to be a second wide receiver, or you can if Fournette not hurt that you can get another second wide receiver to come here that probably is going to be very good. They'll take that spot for 15, 16 million. So that's how you go. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start doing some other stuff, and we're gonna be putting out. We almost have my line of t-shirts coming out, but we are not gonna stop right here. But please, everybody in the chat, join us in the chat. We want to know input is important. Yes, your input is important, and we're gonna do this. So you look for me during this playoff run. When I'm putting my stuff out there, I'm gonna put them out there. I'm gonna put some things out there before the playoff games, and we say, "Come watch Coach Marv. We're gonna watch football and see how we can get better by watching good teams." And we're gonna come out and y'all gonna throw some stuff out in the chat. We're gonna watch the games together because if you're a Cowboy fan, you want to get better. You got to watch other teams. You can't just say, "I just watch my team only and don't watch no other team." And think, well, that's how you gonna get better. And just hear about what other people doing and say, "Oh yeah, well I heard so and so did so and so." Let's watch it together, and then certain things out there I'm going to explain to you to tell you how that's being about and what maybe something to thinking about that is. But like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for giving me the therapy today to cut and to get over some of this stuff, man. Thank you, so man. Thank you so G Hampton. Thank you so much, man. Listen here. Yeah. Let me answer this question. G Hampton. The starters are the players we evaluate. See, and I'm not going at you, but think about this. That goes back to what I was talking about, G. We got to get out of this mentality that we are better than we are. Listen, we are what we say. We under 500 team. We need to evaluate the guys as the big time. They got to get to the point where we get out of this road. I do not want to go into an offseason with a 5-game losing streak. So everybody need to line their butt up, and we need to win these next 2 games. These 2 games ain't gonna help us that much in the draft status, but it will help us saying that, hey, we gonna play football. We got to get better, man. This 2 years in a row we ain't been in the playoffs. We ain't got the luxury to say, well, we resting guys because we just that good. Nah, let's line up and play. Now, are they gonna do that? No, they probably gonna go this. They probably gonna go this corporate route stuff again. Like we 3-time Super Bowl champions or somebody. So, yeah. Yeah. Hey, check this out. Go to my inbox me go to my inbox and send me a direct message on Twitter. If G Hampton, if you got me on Coach Marv 1914 on Twitter, send me a direct message, man. Send me some contact information, and we'll get together, man, and chop it up, and we probably could do some things together, man. Because I know you got good football, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to put these football things out and stop all these in the window, this stuff that everybody's talking about. We're gonna talk some real football because this stuff can be fixed. It's not that far broken, but it's got to be fixed with bringing it out the mud and doing it the right way, and not this crazy way. But we gonna and that's gonna you probably help me out when we go out here and keep looking at this because we're gonna watch these real football people, and we're gonna learn some football and learn what good teams have done to get to where they at and what good teams do to win football games. Until next time, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for all y'all support. If you want to support the channel again, as I've always said, you can send super chats. You always can send me a a cash app here, man, so we can try to support the channel, to keep on pushing this channel and to keep getting better. If you want a cash app, please do that. Uh, G Hamlin with send me that. We're gonna be looking at anybody else out there that's when they want to collab, because I do collab with anybody that want to talk football. I'm learning how to do this thing, so we're gonna ride together. But we're gonna learn how to get good football and to get better, so we can move on to get champion. But it's gotta come out the mud, and we're gonna learn how these other teams came out the mud. If you want to cash app me, here's my cash app. But what I want to say before this Christmas holidays, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna come on again, but I'm gonna say this until the Christmas thing. Man, have a Merry Christmas. Do not worry about all that stuff that's going on in this world. Be able to celebrate with your families. And I always say, and I'm gonna make some shirts that's gonna start that say this, man. Listen here. Nobody or nothing can stop God's will. God's will reign on earth as it's gonna reign in heaven. Until next time, people. Peace.